Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's me again. It's Russell Mills, May 26th, 2020. I want to say hello. I hope everybody's blessed today. Basically, the reason I'm going to make this video is about that Joe Biden comment that he made of Charlamagne the God. I'm going to play that right now.
Trump's re-election campaign is jumping on Joe Biden for a comment he made about black voters. It left the prospective Democratic nominee on the defensive over the weekend. Ed O'Keefe reports that while Biden tried to clarify, his campaign bashed the president's response to the pandemic.
President Trump's decision to hit the links this weekend is the focus of a new Joe Biden attack app. The president shot back last night, tweeting that it was exercise. And while Biden and Democrats try to keep the focus on Mr. Trump's handling of the coronavirus, he's trying to focus instead on something Biden said Friday on The Breakfast Club, an influential radio show.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Biden later walked back the comments during a call with black business leaders, saying he doesn't take black voters for granted.
I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. I shouldn't have been so cavalier.
He's bright and just as talented as white kids. The Trump campaign quickly produced online attack apps targeted at black voters.
And you ain't black.
And it's now selling $30 T-shirts emblazoned with Biden's comment. The former vice president says he's in the process of picking a female running mate. And one of the women he's considering, Florida Congresswoman Val Demings, came to Biden's defense on Sunday.
Look, Vice President shouldn't have said it. He apologized for it.
But the man who interviewed Biden, Charlamagne the God, said that Biden and Democrats should do more than apologize.
The apology is cool, but the best apology is actually a black agenda. You know, they got to make some real policy commitments to black people.
Biden continues to face pressure to pick a black female running mate, with many black leaders reminding him that he wouldn't have won the South Carolina primary and some of those early Super Tuesday contests without the overwhelming support of African-American voters. A final decision on his running mate isn't expected for at least another month. Gail?
And I feel like writing a letter that says, "Dear white people, please don't try to tell black people how and what it means to be black." You know, he's talking to Charlamagne the God, who is hip and cool radio personality, very well respected. His audience is very hip and cool. It seems to me that the vice president just got caught up in the moment trying to be cute, as people say, or trying to be, as he said, cavalier. But it's a presidential election. Now is not the time to be cavalier. What are you hearing in Washington about what people are saying about Joe Biden's remarks?
I think a lot of Democrats say, Gail, look, ultimately we're voting for Joe Biden. He's a better choice than the president, the current president, but he has to be careful about what he says and who he says it to. And then this came at the end of a 23-minute radio interview. You're right. His aides say perhaps he got a little too flippant about it there at the end, and he cleaned it up just a few hours later. But a reminder that this is somebody who has a history of saying things that he has to later take back. And we'll see if he ever emerges from his basement this summer, whether it happens again.
All right. Thank you, Ed O'Keefe.
So did you guys see that comment about Joe Biden? See, again, this is why I say to people all the time, you know, people need to be careful about what they say when you're doing stuff like this. Because, again, at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. And to me, he should not have said that to Charlamagne, regardless of, you know, how you feel or whatever the case is. But, you know, let me see this for a second.
We're a different breed, aren't we?
So I'm just saying that that's how it should be. People shouldn't be acting stupid like that. So let's just see this one.
In New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record.
Now, I've been critical of you. I have a few things I want to talk to you about.
I know you have.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
No, I don't. That's why I want to get to know you today. I want to talk to you about mostly black stuff.
I get overwhelming support from the black leadership, young and old. Every poll shows me way ahead.
And black people saved your political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you. And one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. We've seen it more clearly now. In a black majority county, they're 6 times more likely to die in the pandemic than a white county. They're disproportionately uninsured in the African American community, disproportionately make up the essential jobs that they can't do at home. They're risking their lives every day. Enough's enough.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, Swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen,
yes.
I want you to know people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
So that was just an interview that, we saw with Hillary Clinton. So again, like I said, I don't like really any of these people personally. Joe Biden, I don't like any of them.
If your shirt isn't tucked into your pants.
Anyway, I don't really like any of these people, but that's just me. Everybody has their own agenda about stuff, but that's just me. I'm not a fan of it, of Joe Biden. I'm not a fan of Trump. I want to just show you guys this real quick.
It came during an interview with Breakfast Club radio host Charlamagne the God.
Say it again.
The former vice president was touting his record and support for the black community when he said this.
Thank you so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years.
And here's Biden responding to the controversy a little bit later. Take a listen.
Never, ever, ever taken the African American community for granted. I've had their support overwhelmingly. As Dwight can tell you, we have the 8th largest African American population in the country. The percent of the population. That's what I've been involved with my whole career. And so the last thing I want to do, and I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. I shouldn't have been so cavalier in responding to what I thought was. Anyway, it was. I don't take it for granted at all, and no one should have to vote for any party based on their race, their religion, their background. They're African Americans. You think Trump is worth voting for? I don't think so. I'm prepared to put my record against his. That was the bottom line, and it was really unfortunate. I shouldn't have been so cavalier.
All right, let's take it around the table. Geraldo, initially, one of his senior advisors said that the vice president made the comment in jest, and then within the same news cycle, the vice president saying, you should not have been so cavalier. Let's get your take on it.
Well, it reminded me, he reminded me of the elderly lady in Airplane in the scene where you have 2 black guys who are having a hard time because the airplane is going through turbulence and the flight attendant can't communicate with them. Then the little old white lady stands up and says, "I speak jive." It was like Biden said, "I speak jive." It was really, I didn't know where that came from. It seemed as awkward as he can sometimes be. I thought that was really takes the cake.
I wonder if Katie, if gaffes like that, I don't even know if it's a gaffe actually, but comments like that, could that be one of the reasons that the Democrats are not more bullish about their chances going into November, despite some of the polls recently that look good for Biden? When he gets out there, you have a day like this. This is not the best media cycle they've had.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. The more that he gets into these situations where he has to talk about what he's for and what he plans to do, he constantly just falls back on his record rather than looking at the future and providing a platform for a modern era. So he's still fighting that. But his comments came off, as he clearly described just now, as taking for granted the African-American vote, as Democrats have done for years. And it's really interesting to watch this cultural shift that's been happening in the past couple of years under President Trump, where you have people like Kanye West and Sean Diddy Combs coming out and saying, look, our votes are not for free, and we haven't seen results from the people we've been voting for in the Democratic Party for decades now, and we want to see some change here. So Joe Biden assumed, based on skin color, that you should vote for a certain party in a certain way, which if the shoe was on the other foot and a Republican said this, it would be headline news on the front of every single show, every single newspaper, and every single Republican would be asked about it. But instead, Joe Biden will apologize for it and the media will move on.
And I wonder about that, Greg, because there are some people that think, well, this won't matter by dinner time. And it does have a lot to do with how the media reacts to something like this.
Yeah, I have to say, for original viewers of the Five, he pulled a Beckel. That's it. When I heard it, it just made me think of he pulled a Beckel. But here's the thing. Okay, I thought his apology was pretty good. And when I watched this segment in context, I saw two people enjoying each other's company. And so he got a little bit too comfortable. But the point is, my opinion about his apology and my opinion about the tape doesn't matter, because the apology isn't for me, and I wouldn't be upset by what they did. But it's the black conservative that it hurts, right? It's not harmless, and it's not funny to that group, because this is what is being said about them. You aren't black because you voted for Reagan or Bush or Trump. This is not funny to like Thomas Sowell or Larry Elder or Lawrence Jones or Candace Owen or Shelby Steele or Burgess Owen, Charles Payne, Walter Williams. It's not funny to them, because every single day they get grief. Actually, okay.
I have a statement from Robert Johnson, who founded BET, if I could read that, because that goes to exactly what you're talking about, Greg. He wrote this, that the Vice President Biden's statement today represents the arrogant and out-of-touch attitude of a paternalistic white candidate who has the audacity to tell black people, the descendants of slaves, that they are not black unless they vote for him. This proves unequivocally that the Democratic nominee believes that black people owe him their vote without question, even though we as black people know it is exactly the opposite. He should spend the rest of his campaign apologizing to every black person he meets. Dan Bongino, let's get your take on this, because there has been some comments. I saw Zuby, for example, his video that he put out, similar, echoing the comments that Robert Johnson just put out as well.
Yeah, I'm tired, Dana, of having to take this fictitious high road. If we as conservatives and libertarians, if we come out and say, listen, we know Joe Biden's not a racist, and that's not a racist comment, and it was just a gaffe, that there's somehow the woke left is going to extend the same courtesy to us. They won't. They hate you. The most people on the left. Not all Democrats, but the liberals really do hate you. They think conservatives are really awful people. They don't care about your ideas. I'm done with that. Joe Biden has a history of stepping on his own tongue. He was the put you all back in chains guy. You can't go into 7-Eleven without.
So that's basically the Five. Like I said, to me, I don't like any of this. I don't like any of these people personally. I think it's this whole thing. To me, seems like a reality show where people just say what they want. They would do what they want. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, again, I don't like either candidate. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't. I say this, I'm going to say this to black people. It's not about hating, because I deal with so-called Europeans, so-called whites, which are not really white, like we're not really black, but we're African people, they're European people. But I want to say this. I just feel like we as African people, we need to just do for ourselves. I've said this in many videos, I've said this many times, that we need to just do for ourselves. Whether we get a t-shirt business, whether we get a restaurant, whether we, try to get into real estate, whether we get into whatever. We need to help ourselves, and we need to understand that hating ourselves isn't the answer. Hating anyone else isn't the answer neither, but hating ourselves as African people, the original people of this planet, we need to stop all that nonsense. Because those other side of the people, and other races, they're not hating their own. Okay, they get along with themselves very well. So, to me, this seems like a big reality show. And again, I hate when people make comments and then they want to backtrack, like a Joe Biden just did. So my thing is, if that's how you feel, that's what came out your mouth. And I don't care what people say, whatever, that's their business. But that's how it is. He said what he said. And regardless if he wanted to be cavalier, as he said, or not, at the end of the day, people have to take the time to not say stupid things. We all have to. I've said a lot of stupid things in my life. I've said stupid things on these videos. You know what I'm saying? But I have to live with that. But no, I want everybody to just be careful out there with this virus. I want everybody to be blessed. I want black people to wake up more. I want all people to wake up, but I want us to wake up more and understand our power and our strength in numbers, and stop with all the hate, stop with all this stupidity in your mind, because, the more hate we have in our race, the worse it's going to be, which it already has. You know what I'm saying? As in history has shown. So I want everybody to be safe, be blessed. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel, Russell Mills, RussellMills, May 22nd, 2017. My first video called Why Black People Settle for Less. Everybody take care. Peace.